Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or just plain good day, you beautiful human creatures. Welcome back to another episode of Recovery is Effin' Awesome. I am your host, Robo, and my day of grace is May the 7th, 2010, and I'm as grateful for that today as I know how to be. Thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule to give me a listen. If you want to support the channel, you can check out our website, recoveryiseffingawesome.podbean.com, or you can check out our Patreon at patreon.podbean.com/RFA. Once again, I appreciate y'all being here. Today, I want to jump on here. It is the 22nd of August, 2024, and so far we have not blown up the Middle East, nor has Russia and Ukraine dropped nukes on each other yet, so we are still here as far as the recording of this broadcast and hopefully into perpetuity. So I have two readings that I read this morning that just kind of hit me and got me all fired up. It says, you can make use of your mistakes, failures, losses, and sufferings. It is not what happens to you so much as what you use to make of it. Take your sufferings, your difficulties, and your hardships and make use of them to help some unfortunate soul who is faced with the same troubles. Then something good will come out of your suffering, and the world will be a better place because of it. The good you do each day will live on, after the trouble and distress have gone, after the difficulty and the pain have passed away. So if you're in a 12-step program, you have hopefully have worked the steps and understand that we all have a story, right? We all have stuff that we're not necessarily proud of. Some may say that we have regrets. I live with no regrets because everything that I have done, good, bad, indifferent, has got me to where I am today. And we can use all the messed up stuff that we did in the past that we thought was so horrible. And some of it, let's be honest, some of it was, whether we hurt somebody else or ourselves. And we can use that to help someone else. So we can take all of our past liabilities and turn them into present and future assets. It's amazing how one human being helping another person, just by using their experience, their strength, and their hope, and I would also add courage, which we're going to talk about in a minute, to help someone else, to use their experience to help someone else. You know, I have experience in some things, and, you know, there's been some people who I've run into who, you know, ask me for help in certain areas that they're going through that I have no experience in, but I know people who do, and so I can, you know, pass them along to somebody else. And, you know, then that person helps the other person. And once one individual starts helping another individual, you know, the hope grows exponentially. Sorry, just drinking some coffee there. Whew, that coffee's good. 1:30 in the afternoon. And then the other reading that I was reading today, it's out of the book called Rays of the Dawn, which, if you don't have a copy, I would strongly suggest getting one. It's by Dr. Thurman Fleet. He is a chiropractor, was a chiropractor. However, this kind of ties into the recovery program. And on chapter 25, it talks about courage. And I'd just like to read a little bit of it. It says, courage is the attribute of the soul that gives us strength, power, and endurance to overcome and surmount obstacles, weakness, hardships, failures, loss, disappointment, and crisis. Any force, circumstance, condition, person, or thing that tends to impede our progress or interfere with our well-being. Because again, the whole point of living sober and being in recovery is to be happy, to be at peace, and have some kind of serenity. He goes on to say, many types of courage find expression on every plane of our being, physical, mental, and spiritual. Courage is closely associated with bravery, gallantry, valor, and heroism. Bravery implies fearlessness in the face of danger, whereas courage may be shown in spite of fear. There is always a motivating force behind courage that determines its nature and intensity. Aside from the instinctive traits that motivate someone's courageous action, All human beings are endowed, according to their stage of evolution, with attributes of the soul such as love, faith, devotion, loyalty, and unselfishness. Those qualities stimulate the noblest form of courage. Spiritual courage is founded on faith and unselfishness. It accompanies loyalty, devotion, and personal commitment. Those causes, persons, and values that are nearest and dearest to our hearts inspire the strongest and most enduring courage. Spiritual courage. You know, it takes spiritual courage to live in recovery, especially with all the stuff going on around the world. You know, whether it's the Russia-Ukraine thing, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's the people protesting at the, national conventions, whether it be the Republican or the Democrat. And, and it really takes spiritual courage and a whole lot of restraint when you get on social media, because you are just bombarded with so much negativity. And it's our job, I feel, to spread positivity. I'm not some tree-hugging, hippie is like, ooh, peace, love, and happiness, right? But if we could spread a little bit more of that, or at least understanding and not arguing over just minute stuff that really doesn't make a damn bit of difference, to be honest with you. Things are going to happen. We have no control over what's going on in the world. And they use that hula hoop analogy, right? So, for those millennials who don't know what a hula hoop is, it's fucking Google it, right? And it's a circle piece of plastic, right? So everything in the hula hoop, is what I can control. I can control my emotions. I can control my reactions. I can control my actions. I can control my thoughts sometimes. And I can control what comes out of my mouth. Because the funny thing about words is once you say them, you really can't take them back. But all that stuff that is going on in the world could, make somebody really depressed and just anxious and full of fear and, just waiting for the power to go out. The phones don't work and the cars don't run. Then fucking what? Then what the fuck are we going to do? And you can spend time worrying about that. Or you can spend time preparing for, the eventuality of, something bad is going to happen, whether it's that to the extreme or, the power goes out because, it's 100 and fuck you outside and the substations can't handle it because everybody has their air conditioner on set to 70, or a natural disaster, right? Whether it's a fire, a tornado, a hurricane, an earthquake, just things that happen. We need to be ready. And it's kind of like when we wake up every morning, we don't know what the day is going to hold. So we need to get our spiritual stuff in balance and, do those certain things that the hymnal says that we need to do upon awakening. Get centered, spiritually centered, mentally focused, and have courage and have faith that everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to, and usually in our favor, and it's all going to be okay. It is what it is. Shit happens, and you just deal with it, and you keep moving on in a positive direction. With a whole lot of gratitude and a smile on your face. No matter what, and but to do that takes a lot. For me, it took a lot of practice. I'm still not 100% really good at it, but most days I am. And it takes courage to face the world on a daily basis, especially sober. And you want to live in gratitude, and you want to be positive, and you want to spread that positivity, and you want other people to be happy and get along, and who gives a shit, who you voted for in the last election or who you're going to vote for in this election, right? That should not make a difference on whether we can get along as people, right? But everybody looks at the differences so much instead of the similarities, right? And just, and I'm apolitical. I really don't give a shit who wins. I really hope your candidate wins. Whoever you vote for, I hope they win. Because then you'll understand that not a goddamn thing is going to change. And there's nothing we can do about it. Anyway, back to the book. It says, courage is a vibratory emotion of a positive nature, and all souls within its sphere of radiation are instantly attracted to it. When we face a dangerous or difficult situation courageously, we transmit the same feeling to others. Right? So when we're going through the steps, and we have to look back at our past, and we have to get rid of, we have to remember and get rid of, and get out on paper and tell another human being and get that out of our head, some of the most embarrassing and things, again, in our past that we're not really proud of. That takes courage. That 100% takes courage. And by doing that with another person, preferably your sponsor, then it kind of spreads to them. And, and then the new people who are coming in, they get really nervous because, they hear the war stories like, I want to do that because I want to look back at that because, that's my old life. But if we don't get rid of that baggage that we carried into whatever program that you're in, or we've been carrying around for years that have weighted us down and just killed our spirit and allowed us not to know what serenity and peace is, and allowed us to not know what true happiness and joy are. Once we get that and we deal with it, no matter how painful it is, that, my friends, takes courage. To look at all the fucked up shit that we did, deal with it, admit to it, look at it dead in the face, and say, you know what? Yeah, I did that, but I don't do that anymore. I don't live that way because I choose to live a new lifestyle. And then it loses a lot of its power. But that is a courageous act. A lot of people don't think about that. They think of courage as, firefighters running into a burning building, or our men and women in the military running toward, or our, first responders, police officers and such running into, a hail of bullets, right? Yes, that is courageous also. But what we do in this program, choosing to live sober one day at a time, yeah, that fucking takes courage too. Because if you lived like I did, and you acted like I did, and you drank like I did, to not do any of that stuff, and to have a spiritual awakening and try to live on a spiritual path now, yeah, that takes a lot of courage. When courage is lost, all is lost. We become weaklings, afraid to meet the test of life. We see examples of this every day in those people who have lost their courage, who have given up hope, who allow themselves to sink into the depths of human society. The person who indulges in self-pity is naturally a coward. When our power and energy become inverted, when we become overly concerned about ourselves, then we have incapacitated ourselves for brave and daring action. Then, our inevitable reaction to danger and difficulty is not courage, but alibis and escapes. Courage is a great constructive power in overcoming the negative and destructive forces within the self. It is an essential factor in self-control and self-discipline. As long as people succumb to the desires, urges, and tendencies of their animalistic nature, they will continue to vibrate on a low plane. Only as we learn, through courageous thought and action, to control and redirect these tendencies, we will evolve to a higher plane of existence. Humanity's duty is not to live for itself alone, recognizing the oneness of all life. We must exercise courage in controlling these habits and traits that tend to degrade our nature. As a consequence, we will aspire to live according to our highest ideal of our relation to God and to other people. I mean, that's some powerful stuff right there. Courageous men and women never indulge in self-pity or complacency. We're always bettering ourselves, right? We're always getting better. I don't have to be better than you. My goal is not to be better than you. My goal is to be better than I was yesterday. Their souls shine as ever-guiding lights to lead others out of darkness and confusion. Life has many trials and tribulations, and it is only the courage to face these and master them that allows us to strive upward. I read that this morning, and it was, sometimes you just read things, and I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll read things, and it just hits me. Like, it's just, holy shit, man, that's powerful stuff. Right? Life has many trials and tribulations. Again, life's life. Shit's gonna happen. Bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. It just is. But if we have courage to face these, then we can live to strive upward. And that's our goal, right? We don't want to stay the same. Because if we stay the same and stop growing, we're actually going backwards. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to go back and live the way that I used to live. Right? I'm happy. I know peace, joy, and I know serenity. And if I don't put mind-altering chemicals in my body and I don't intentionally hurt anybody, that's a good day. And hopefully I can help somebody along the way. But courage is it's a word that I believe is misunderstood and sometimes misused. Again, it goes back to, it's like the word hero, right? There are a lot of heroes. Everybody has their hero, and it's not necessarily football players and athletes and all that bullshit, but it's normal, everyday people doing normal, everyday things for the right reasons. That's what a hero is to me. People who care. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of good people out there who are going through some struggles. And some of them are lost and don't know where to turn. And we may be the only people that they meet who can give them a little positivity in their life. And not to get too deep, but that's kind of a big responsibility, right? Because wherever you go, whatever you do, somebody's watching. Not like stalker creepy. I mean, maybe that's the case, right? But somebody's watching you. We there's people who are watching you and see how you live and how you act, especially if they know that you're in recovery, right? So my job, and I believe our job, is to A, obviously stay sober, B, help other people, who want to stay sober, use our experience, strength, and hope to help them along their way. Also help other people, however we can, and expect absolutely nothing in return. And we spread positivity, and we do our best to live a good life. We do our best to attack every situation with a heart full of gratitude and a positive mind, and we help other people. And by helping other people, what I have found is I am inevitably helping myself. And since I am, deep down a selfish person still, that then it's a win. Yeah, I can help you, but by helping you, I help myself. And I don't look at it like, oh, I'm going to help you just so I can feel better. That's not it. But when I help other people, it makes me feel good that I got to contribute to life, contribute in a positive manner to somebody else's life instead of always just taking and sucking the life out of every room that I used to go in. Because 14 years ago, that was me. That's how I lived. I would go in and I would suck the life out of every room that I was in. And today I try to light up every room that I go in with a little positivity. I'm unapologetically me. And, people like me and don't like me for the same reason. And, several years ago, I made a decision that I'm going to be me. I make no apologies for it, and I don't change for anybody. And, a lot of people like it. Some people don't, and that's okay. Because what I found is if you are you, genuinely you, the people who you attract are supposed to be in your life, and the people who you don't attract aren't supposed to be in your life. And other than that, just be you unapologetically. And I guarantee you that you will find that you are actually happier instead of trying to, like me, I was, lived for so many years trying to put on an act, just to please other people. Well, I'm not in the people pleasing business anymore. As my friend Mike says, we're in the ass saving business. And if I can help one person with this podcast or a conversation or a phone call or a text or whatever, then I'm doing something. I'm doing something right, and it's all worth it. Again, thank you guys for listening, taking time out of your busy day. Hope you like and comment on this thing. Helps the algorithm get out to more people. Anyway, I love you guys. I really appreciate the support. Remember, stay sober. Help somebody else without expecting anything in return. Try to live as best you can in a positive manner with gratitude in your heart. And recovery is fucking awesome.